Right, good morning fisher people, I'm Alan Norris from FishOn TV. It's Wednesday the 13th of August. Just arrived at the King's Chamber for another qualifier, Qualifier 9. We're running out now for the FeederKing. To qualify for the FeederKing finally you've got to win your zone of 20 and it ain't easy. You know, it doesn't matter if people say, oh yeah, there were fish there last time, doesn't mean there's going to be fish there this time. I've said it loads of times. It's either your day and the fish are there, or it isn't. And I've had some great advice off people that have been there, fished it when they've been pleasure fishing. I've caught on this, I've caught on that peg so and so meters. Yes, that's right, you do catch plenty. I went the other day and I had a bite every single cast. But unfortunately, and that I only do that just to reconfirm that the way I've set it up, everything's okay, there's nothing drastically wrong, and I've caught bream, loads of roach, skimmers, unbelievable day. And I had a few hours and it was one a chuck. But when there's 60 on there, knock 70% off what you catch. That's about right, that's what I worked out. I thought, in a match that'd be, I don't know, £10. I must have had £40 or so that day. What's that? Yeah. So if you say 30% of what you've caught, it's about right. So whatever you catch pleasure fishing, knock 70% off. If you drop on the fish, that's what you might catch in a match. So just to give you an idea. So yeah, just reconfirm. I just went for a few hours. I'd had a terrible day at the UK Champs. Couldn't buy a bite. I had more bites in 20 minutes at Southfield Res, unbelievably, than I did all day at Rookery Waters. It was just brilliant. So obviously feeling confident. But today, when there's 60 on there, every single peg taken will be tough. It's bright sunshine. It's going to be 32 degrees. I'm going to need the suntan lotion on. It ain't going to be easy. There's no wind at minute. Not ideal. I'm thinking 10 to 15 pounds might be a good weight today, but we could be wrong, completely wrong, because we've thought that before and 25 and 30's won it, but it's not ideal for bream at all. So it's difficult here at Southfield when it's full. This weather's going to make it even more difficult, so we shall see how it goes. They're not excuses, these are just facts, people. So for you that say, oh, he's making excuses, they're not excuses. I'm trying to paint the picture. If you turned up to a day, if you turned up to your peg and you go, oh, I don't fancy that, or you didn't like the weather, or whatever it was, you know what goes through your mind. Just painting the picture of what I'm seeing at the minute. Red hot, no wind. It's supposed to get up a little bit, 9 miles an hour maximum, which put a bit of a breeze on, hopefully cool us down. Just trying to paint that little picture of, I'm fearing the worst for the res, not me, for the reservoir. Somebody will catch. I hope it's me. Will it be my day today? We shall see. The norm at the minute is 3 lines because these fish are coming. I caught quite a few fish, quite sort of 30 metres and 15 metres the other day. Will that happen in the match? We don't know. So let's get to the draw. The draw's in 5 minutes, 7 minutes. And let's see where we get drawn, and hopefully we get a video out of this. I've not been able to get videos. I've taken the cameras every single time. There's just been no action. I've probably had 1 bream and a couple of little roach, or 1 bream and 2 skimmers, 3, 4 skimmers. I've not had more than 5.5 pounds so far. Last year I had 15.5 pounds and come second in zone. That's the best I've done so far here at Southfield. Pleasure fishing, ridiculous. It's just like it's full. Match fishing, you'd think there were no fish there whatsoever. So there you go, people. Let's get to the draw. Let's see where we get drawn and pray that there are some fish in front of me today. this time, yeah! So, middle zone, peg 35. Now you're all wondering, is it any good? It's like all the rest of them. They'll either be there or they won't. So we'll see you guys down at peg 35 on Southfield Res. Right, well, we've got 45 minutes to go. I'm ready. It's dead easy getting ready for feeder fishing, isn't it? Lines, I'll just tell you. Oh, in fact, I need to measure my short line. Just reminded me. I think it's about 17 metres. We look a bit 16 or 17 metres. So I'll measure that one. So just a nice short line. We're just starting to get a bit of a breeze, but it's been like glass, and it's absolutely sweltering. So I've gone for a 32 metre line and a 48 metre line. When I came the other day, when I've been before in matches, anything between 45 and 55 you'll catch if they're there. So 48 metres, it's a nice easy cast that can keep it nice and accurate if the wind gets up. 32 metres and 16 and 17, I'll just measure that one out now actually. I think I've been watching a few of these guys, and I'm just gonna put a bigger feeder on today and just sit on it. Rather than having lots of little casts, I'll have a slightly bigger feeder. And it's as accurate as you can get, is a bit of bait, well, a feeder full of bait, and then yours, rather than the tiny ones. And I can use that to bait the swim uppers as well, and I can always switch after so long to small feeders if I don't think there's any fish there. There's no point keeping piling it in. So I might actually start with a bigger feeder than I normally would out there. I think I'm going to put a couple short, just a couple of those at 16 or 17 metres, and then I'm going to put 3 or 4 of those at 32, and I'm just going to have a look long, because sometimes you can pinch a fish quite early. So I'll probably have 4 7 or 8 minute casts, and then I'm just going to come short. I'm going to have a look short, and just because the last time I came I noticed there were quite a lot of roaching. I don't think there's as many roaches as what there is cormorants over there though. Oh my god, they're lined up like soldiers. It's all along there. It's just rammed with cormorants. But it's not very often you see them on here now and again, but not very often. But they're the lines, and this is me thinking. Big feeders to start with. I know they say it's shallow, it's little feeders, but I've watched some people here that have emptied it and crashed big feed and crashed them in, and I'm like, don't make sense. I'm plopping them in and they're crashing them in, they're catching, I'm not. So I'm not going to crash them in, I'm going to send it out there. It's going to be mainly ground bait and a few particles, so if they do come to the ground bait, I want them to go, ooh, there's a bit bigger bit there, and hopefully it'll be my bait. So that's the tactics. I mean, I'll show you, Res. Well, I called Dave at side of me. I've never met him before. So that's your canal bank all along there, and then my zone starts 4 pegs down, 31. And we've got Alex Doherty getting ready over there, and it's 31 to 50 I think, and then I think it's 51 to 70 on the top zone. And there we go. Ever such a slight breeze coming left to right, which is okay. I'm in the middle zone. I'm all set up, I'm all ready, and it's going to be maggots, red worm, tail ends of dendras, and now and again a full dendra nipped off in half, like a standout bait, can also work. But when I have come the other day, I did catch on dendra, but it wasn't as good as red worm. Red worm and maggot seems to be definitely the best 2 baits here. So But don't get me wrong, I've ended up catching where people have not caught around me, and I've caught on 2 dendrers, with just tail end nipped off. So it's a strange place, this Southfield. So I'm gonna put 3 or 4 feederfuls at 32 metres, a couple short, and I'm gonna go straight out long with a bigger feeder on. I might even empty 1 out there long to start with, because that's going to be my starting line. I like to start on the first one I bait up. So yeah, probably empty 1 out there, 3 or 4 middle, a couple short, because I'm thinking, from what I saw the other day, there seemed to be a lot of roaching, so maybe try and get a few fish in net and work it from there. Or you could just sit on a long line, be patient, and hope they turn up on 1 line, which can also work here. But I'd like to be a little bit more active than that. Oh, is that a
mighty fisherman? He is.
A bream? We're not just in a bream. Oh, and we've got Alex Doherty here. Look, he's brought me a few.
Look after him at work. Look after him on my days off. To be paid a carer's allowance.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad. Cheers, Alex. So there we go. That's tactics, and we're away in 40 minutes. Mention me. See you during the match. Bait tray. So ground bait. I've not got it out yet because with it being so warm. It's the bag and match baits, XPG. A lot of cobwebs, strands of cobwebs knocking about. The bag and match baits XPG. That's the expander with super skimmer dark green. I've also put equal measure, so it's a third of each. Some carp commercial. You're probably thinking, why 3 lots? Well, the reason I've done that is the super skimmer dark's great. It's great for roach and skimmers, but for some reason this quite a strong fish meal ground bait works quite well here, and the carp commercial is quite a bit stronger. So I've put some of that in as well, so it's more fish meal in it as well. So I've got a mixture of fish meal and then the sort of roach and skimmers with the super skimmer dark and green. And the ground expanders, just crushed expanders, it's just a great bait, and it clouds up lovely. So that's why I've mixed those 3. I thought it were a bream. It's a, what is it? Is it a young cormorant or a grebe? Can't really make it out. I think it's a little grebe. Its head looks a bit big for a grebe. Yeah, it is. It's a grebe. I just didn't go down. So I've had a cormorant in my peg and a grebe in my peg. That's not looking great, is it? Just in my peg. Baits wise, I've got casters, pinkies, dead reds, live reds, and there's some red worms in there. And I've got a bag of worms. They're in my cool bag. Just trying to keep everything cool because it is absolutely scorchy out today. People's putting the brollies up as well. Don't blame them. Got my suntan lotion on. I'll go get my sunglasses, and let's hope some bream turn up in front of me today. Weight prediction, it's a difficult one. That I think I mentioned it earlier. I think 10 to 15 pound would be good weights, but you never know. They could turn up in a peg and somebody could have 20 pound. You just don't know. But I'm thinking the norm 10 to 15 pound is usually decent weight around here. Right, there we go. See you during the match. About 40 minutes in, I've had a small skimmer on the previous cast. I'm hoping I've still got this one, and yeah, it's still on. It's either a roach or a small skimmer. I've seen Alex to my right catch one. There's a bloke just had a skimmer to my left. The guy to my right's just had he's had a little roach. Ah, yeah. It's just a little fish. It's a little hybrid, that one. And I'd be swinging these in normally if we were catching loads, but bites are so precious, I'm not even chucking them in my net there. I've had to get a long arm. I've had to get a long arm to get any depth on my keep net, because they can stick to your hand. Your dry hands, they can stick, and when you go to chuck them in, oh, they can stick to your hands and you can miss your net. And with ounces really counting, you can't take them chances. just started adding a bit of chop worm? Is it that they've just turned up on those big, had 5 casts with a big feeder? Is it coincidence that I've put worm in? Not a lot. Stuart said these bloody things are, these red worms are tiny. That's a better one. I always like to put at least 2 on, because on the cast sometimes when it hits that clip it can chuck them off. So I always put 2 on, nip the end off, just to try and stop them from wrapping around your hook length, and then I've been putting a dead pinky or a dead red on, and then at least hopefully we'll know that there's still some bait on, because there's no more infuriating than when you reel it in and there's no bait on. Has it come off while you're reeling it in? Has it come off on the cast? We'll never know. I'm putting a right, maybe a thumbnail size of chop worm, because you can't overfeed them in here. I know people say get it piled in. You can't do it here. I've tried it. It doesn't work unless you're pleasure fishing. So just a little bit, just a few particles. I want the main particle to be my worm. They'll still come to the ground bait. I've just gone onto a winder feeder as well, and I've had both fish on that. Trying to judge it so it's not too hard on the clip so it don't throw my bait off. But it's difficult to do that without getting a bow in your line. I haven't done too bad there actually, fairly low. Just pull it back a bit, straighten that hook length out. And I've just got my tip slightly under the water. With it being high pressure today, I know that your braid can float, and if it does float with this bit of a breeze, you get a massive bend in your tip. So far so good. He says I hope I've just not jinxed myself. So that's two skimmers. Well, a skimmer and an hybrid. The other one probably 4 to 5 ounce. Not big bites or anything. I mean, I've tried it with a 1 ounce tip out there, and if you get any tow, it's just bent round, and I hate that. So I just got 1.5 or 2 ounce tip, and they're quite soft, these map tips anyway. So I've got a 2 ounce tip on my long line, 1 ounce tip at 30 odd metres, and a 1/2 ounce tip on my short line. Because if it does tow here on Southfield, you can have a 2.5 ounce tip and it's still bent right around. It can be awful sometimes. And I've found a 2 ounce tip seems to be, you can still, well, obviously a small fish like that, I saw the bite, it was you can't miss them with braid. And if you get a proper one, it just melts round. I've had a 2.5 ounce tip on here when it's been towing, and when you get one of them proper bream have a go, you cannot miss it. If you left it, your rod would slide in. The proper bites. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I've had like where you just think it's a small skimmer and it's been a 5 pound bream. But what I'm trying to say is, even though it's a 2 ounce tip with skimmer fishing, you can still see the bites. I would always want to use a 1 ounce or a 1.5 ounce normally. Up to about 45 metres, I think. I always think when you're having to, if a wind gets up and you're having to chuck it any distance, I'm always worried about a crack off on tip, so I'll go up to 2, sometimes a 3 ounce depending on weather. Like at Ferry Meadows when it was blowing absolute hoolie, I had a 3 ounce tip on, could see every single bite. So I think we can be a bit too picky at times. But definitely short line with roach and stuff like that, you want a really soft tip, keep it straight so you can see every little pull. no resistance. But there we go. At least we've got 2 fish in the net. We're 55 minutes in, and I've not seen a lot of fish caught. I've seen a few small ones like that being caught, so no reports of big bream. Let's hope he keeps going, people. No more indications long, so I just emptied a feeder full out there, and I've come on this 30 odd metre line. I've got a couple more short as well, 16 metres. And it's only been in 3 minutes, and it's I think it's a little skimmer or a roach. Skimmer. It's gone round again. There's a bream being caught to my left, but not in my zone, and I'm not sure if a lad's had a bream next to Alex. I'm not sure if he's had one or not. I was casting at the time. I thought I'll have a look when I've cast. He's either lost it or he's got it. I'm not sure. So I've got to assume that he did get it. But that's my third little fish. It's a shame they're not coming a bit quicker. You never know. We're on three red worms now. Greedy little bugger. That's if they all stayed on. We are assuming they've all stayed on. So a little 20 gram cage rocket feeder. Really got to cast it with this breeze just to try and keep it accurate. I've got to give it a little bit of stick actually. It feels like I'm overcasting, but I'm not, to try and get it accurate and straighten your line out. Because if you leave a big bow in it, you're probably nowhere near your bait, because you've got maybe 3 or 4 or 5 yards of line in the bow. God, they're wriggly, them. They're very wriggly. So again, a little pinch of chop worm, a couple of casters, 4 or 5 casters. That's what I had that one on. Let's do it again. And I've got this little rocket feeder because it disperses the bait, the ground bait and everything, fairly quickly, and it's shallow here, so that's the reason I've got that. See if we can get it accurate. Perfect. Mighty. But it's still got a little bit of bow. So that's half a wind on me feeder. You notice I left my rod forward a bit so it got a bit further, so it allows just for that, and hopefully that will be at the back of my bait. Just because when I was baiting up I was holding it up here, so it's probably a metre or 2 shorter is where I baited up, but I'm not bothered about that. That's what I want. I prefer to come in from the back of the bait. I know we've watched loads of videos, haven't we? You see the fish coming in from the back, from the side. And if I was doing it at distance, let's say if I was baiting up with a bait up feeder at 50 metres, I'd probably be a metre or 2 short on the bait up feeder. So then when I cast, hit your clippers, let's say fishing at 50 metres, bait up feeder at 48, hit that clip, always goes forward, empty it, and then when you're fishing at 50 metres, you're 2 metres a bit further, allow for a bit of bowing line maybe, and just straightening the up length out, so hopefully you're just coming into the back of your bait. That's the theory. That's what I like to think was happening. Might be absolute rubbish, but in my head that's what I think's happening, and if you're confident with that, do it. Right, so 3 little skimmers. Definitely need some bream to turn up. But if I keep catching one or 2 skimmers on here, I mean that come after 3 minutes. I think every sort of
15 minutes and we're empty a feeder full. How long? Because you might think it's maybe not enough, but it is, because I've had days where I've waited 15 minutes for a bite, depending on how difficult it is. Because on here, with it being shallow, you can easily spook them and you can easily overfeed them if there's only maybe 2 or 3 fish swimming past your bait. Just got to be careful. You know if there's plenty of fish in your swim because you get liners and all sorts, but I've had nothing like that. It's just a bite out of blue. So I think these fish are moving up and down. Sometimes you'll see somebody catch to your right, you'll have nothing, and then suddenly you'll get one. So I think they'll come in, get their heads down. If one gets caught, spooks them, they move on to the next. That's could be completely wrong, but it's definitely spooking here. Because you can't seem to keep bagging and bagging and bagging. There's odd days and the odd person where it happens, 40, 50 pound. Very rare indeed. So there we go. Keep plodding on and just hope. Keep putting a couple of them in the net and hope a couple of breams turn up. Bite's dried up on that middle line and I kept feeding the long line. And it's difficult keeping it accurate now. It's drifting. Trying to keep as light a feeder as I can, but it's just drifting a bit. I kept it topped up and I've just literally just gone on it and it's gone round within seconds. It's not a big end, it's a skimmer. But it's my biggest one of the day. Well done, he says. That was literally 5 seconds of being in. I've had a good, I bet it's an hour since I've been on that line, because I was getting indications on the middle line, but I think there were a lot of small roach, a few little taps and busted worms and stuff. I've had a look on the short line again, little taps and stuff, and that was 3 red worms again. Stay still, bloody thing. These red worms. So we'll give that another go, people. A little bit, a couple of casters. And a bit of slop. It's quite sloppy, that ground bait. Just put it on, just sunk the line, just put it on the rest, settled, and it went straight round. Let's hope it does it again, but with a 5 pounder. I'm to aim well left at the minute. Now that didn't drift half as much, and I think it slipped off my finger a bit early as well. It's still unbelievable. Another cast, it was lovely, I thought. And it drifted like crazy, but that didn't. It must have just dropped a bit. It must have had a gust earlier. But the toe is right to left, so I'm probably about 1.5 meters away from where the last one went in. But what I will say is where I've dropped bait, it is where it is now. It just goes to show that the fish do hang off bait sometimes. Because my other one, I thought, well, I'll only leave that 3 or 4 minutes. And I can see the line towing that way, so it's probably not a bad thing where it is. That had gone already by now on that previous cast. But that Southfield fire, it's strange. You get a bite in seconds, but it just stays motionless. And then you'll get one out at blue, just go around out at blue. There's no It never feels like there's a real pattern. Only time I've ever felt a pattern here at Southfield is when I've just come for a few hours. You know, like sort of casting and just testing my rigs out, making sure everything's working as it should. There's quite a bit more toe on it now as well, because that's bent quite a lot. Which is why I put the 2 ounce tip on. If that'd have been a 1 ounce tip, it'd have been right round. Ooh, little jab that. Well, little rattle. Maybe I should have lifted on that because it dropped back ever so slightly. And I won't leave that more than 3 minutes now, because if that's taking the red worms, I could be sat there for, because they're softer red worms and they can soon nick them off. If that's dropped back a little bit, it's pulled the feeder. When I say a bit, it was ever so slightly. It was more of a dilly, it just dropped back a little bit. Spiders and little flies. But we'll give that another minute and a half. And we'll just recheck his bait and have another cast. That wind's just dropped again now. The uncoachable Zolt, apparently he's got 2.5 pound according to Lee. Good old Zolt. Set 3 or 4 extra rods up in case he has a few crack-offs, he says. He's a grand lad. Makes me laugh. Right, well, I'm hoping that might go straight round for you again, but it hasn't. Weird. Very weird. And I'm literally that far off from where it landed previously. It's nothing. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Right, I've had another skimmer. Hopefully this is skimmer number 7. There's been a bream about 4 pound caught to my right, and he's got a couple of bits as well. Plus that other lad, I think, has got a bream. I'm not sure if this is a slightly better skimmer or not, this. I'm hoping it is. Yeah, it's putting a bit of a scrap up. I hope it is a bit bigger. Yeah, it is. I think it's an hybrid. Yeah, it's definitely putting a bit of a scrap up, is that? Yeah, what a lovely hybrid that is. Yeah, belting hybrid. Thought it was scrapping a bit. Change my hook. That's gone through the fish. Not pulling it back through the fish. Yeah. Hey, wait. Oh, look at that for an hybrid. It's a beauty, isn't it? Yeah, put a good old scrap up, did that lad. Right, I'll get that hook out of the net and tie another hook on. So we'll see you on the next. Another skimmer, that's 8. And this, I think it's another skimmer, but I think it's a substantially bigger one. I hope it is anyway. There's been another bream caught to my right. So he's definitely winning this zone, I think. It's hard to tell how big this is, because it's pretty much braid direct. Could be a bream, I'm not sure. It's not a big one. It certainly feels bigger than the others, and I've lost one as well. I don't think it were a bream, I think it were a decent skimmer. This definitely feels better. And that's gone round within about a minute. As did the other bite. That's on the 48 metre line, so again 3 red worms. Oh, we can keep this one on. probably be £3 or more. Yes, we'll accept them, people. Oh, that keeps me in the race. Yeah, about £3 I think. We've got, I'll just double check my phone. It's 2:30, so we've got an hour and a half left. And I have been adding worm on every single putting, and I definitely think it's made a difference today. But like I say, you've got to be careful from the off and add it and see if you get a reaction. Crap off my fingers, so we'll get back out there. This swan, I see it every time I come, and I'm sure he recognises me, because if I could just come for a few hours, I always give him a bit of snap, and I can tell, well, it's a female actually, I can tell where she's looking at me. Come on, Mr. Mighty, you always give me a bit of snap. Well, I'm busy, I'm trying to cop some of these breams than ours. Sake here. Do you know I'm a soft touch? It sounds a bit hungry there, doesn't it? I'll have to chop a bit more worm as well. So, a bit of slop. She thinks I'm getting some more. Well, you can sod off, you greedy sod. You eat all my snap every time I turn up. Let's get it back out there. And that stayed exactly straight. All the others have drifted. It's not far off. It's not bad. About a metre off where I wanted it. And that the bite wasn't massive neither. Only a little 1, 2. You just know it were a bite. Towing his socks off and all now. Glad I put the 2 ounce tip in. So we're alright. So we've got gigs. I can't see. They're foot short range, that's better. So yeah, let's hope. I've put a couple of feederfuls short, and I've put a feeder full on the 30-odd metre line, just to keep it topped up, and at least I've got some options. So get your head off me rod, will you? Sod off now, you've had a bit of snap. Headbutting me rod, cheeky sod. So yeah, let's hope we can get a few more. Wouldn't mind about half a dozen. Come on. Half a dozen would see me right, wouldn't it? Little fish, a little bite, skimmer bite. I had a little indication to start with, but like I've mentioned loads of times, just wait for that 1, 2, 3 and you know it's on. No point lifting with them little jabs. Dave at side of me has been saying, oh, I keep getting jabs out, I missed that. Come on Swan, you're getting on my nerves now. You just got to lift when you think it's definitely on. Because you can be in and out, wasting casts, missing bites. Little skim of this. Now that'll do. Get me red worms. Oh, it's gone in net again. Right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Well, it's gone again. And I'm hoping it's a decent skimmer again. Well, it might be a bream, I don't know. Can't really tell. It's not a big one, I don't think. I said that last time though. Again on that long line. And that we're in 1 minute 25 seconds. We're just chopping some worm up. Straight round, no messing out, I think it is a bream. It came in really easy to start with. I thought, oh, it's another skimmer, but a slightly better one. Let's hope it is a bream. I think it is definitely a bream. Well, I'd have said that were a carp if out. He's trying now. Can't believe it. Well scrapped, mate. Alright, scrap up did that, lad. That. Yeah. Only a small one. There'll be a pound and a half, maybe 2. Right then, people. Sharpish because getting bites that quick suggests there could be a small shoal of them there. I got crap and slime off. So we'll get this cast in, see you on the next day if it doesn't. What we got? We've got 1 hour and 7 minutes. So I've got 10 little skimmers, hybrid and 2 bream, but one at bream maybe only a couple of pound or so. The guy that had 2 earlier has just had another one. So he's got 3 bream. I don't know how many small ones he's got as well, but I definitely need a couple more bream, I think. Just to give you an update for the last hour or so. Will I get a couple more? You just don't know with Southfield. You might get 3 on bounce, or absolutely nothing. I mean, that last one I've just had were about 6-7 ounce. I'd just cast it out and I was just tightening my line and it went. But it was a small one. Why couldn't it have been a bigger one? We always want bigger people, don't we? So that's the update going into the last hour. Let's see how we get on, people. Right, we've got 47 minutes. I've literally just had a 2-minute cast, and this was going to be a 2-minute cast, so it's gone round after 45 seconds, but I've just put a meter on just to go to the back of all where I've been casting. Maybe 1.5 meters. That's just gone round. I'm hoping I might pick some bream up at the back. That's the plan. I definitely need some bream. I think Eddie said somebody got £9. Well, I ain't got £9. This is starting to feel a bit heavier now. That's a nice skinner. That's a lot bigger skimmer than I thought that was when I was leaving it in. I thought it was a 4 ouncer. It's got to be 8 or 10 ounce. Put a feeder full at 30 odd metres as well, just in case I thought I might need it. So that's 12 skimmers. But if somebody's got £9, I've definitely not got £9. I don't think anyway. I think I've got about £7, so that's where we are at the minute. Last 45 minutes I could do with this little plan that I've just thought of working now, just to pick a couple of bream up to sort of give me half a chance. I've seen a landing net go out further up, don't know how they're getting on, no idea. Maybe I should have put that little bit on that piece, that was a bit too thin. Isn't it? Sticking to me. Okay. Let's get his tail and nip him. Bit of jaw worm. Definitely the slop. And we might have come just for a bit of a pleasure day, just to chill out. The slop has always been the best one. So I'll push it in with a little bit of dry and cap it off with a load of slop. That puts a right cloud in when it lands. So I need to remember to just chuck it a little bit harder. Come on then. Didn't come round at all hardly. But I'm not bothered because there's odd cast I've chucked that's gone there, so there's bait in that area. We're talking a metre or so, if that. So if there's going to be any fish, they're all in that area anyway, and it's not a bad thing going to the left or right. Toe is going that way, so you never know. We'll give that 3 minutes, just because I'm slightly off where the 2-minute casts were, and then I'll recast it. Oh, I think I just had a liner then. Yeah. Maybe I should have lifted on that. Just, I think, enough to lift that. Let's see if it'll go again. It didn't look like it got it in its head. That has. In its head, in its mouth. I think there's a few fish there, you know. I don't think the big fish, because they're a small liner, like a small fish. Which is what this is, unless it magically turns into a 10-ouncer again. Is that still on? I can't tell now. I can't feel any vibrations. Yeah, it's still on. That little skimmer. Couldn't even tell it we're on. Come here, that thing. Couldn't even tell that was on. Again, another 4 ounce in the net, maybe 5. So there we go, people, we'll crack on. And unless I get a bream, I'm going to concentrate this last 40 minutes. If I get some decent fish, I'll click back on, otherwise it'll be out the way. Wish me luck.
make this quick because it is 33 degrees. It's like an oven in here. I've just had a head gone on. Right, cut to the chase. I've had 15 or 16 fish for £9.3. The guy 2 downs had £11.6. He had 3 bream, and apparently I think dip of the corner, Dave Parsons, I think he's had £13 something. So I needed more than 1 pull. I think I needed 2 pulls of decent fish to qualify. But the long line's been the best line. I've had indications. I had a few on the 30 odd metre line, 30 metre line. It never really took off. There were small stamp. It really wasn't filling me with hope too much. I always thought the fish were going to come long, and that's where most of them have come from. Adding worm a little bit later on definitely helped, and slopping the ground bait up definitely helped. Worm and caster, 3 red worms on the hook. I've enjoyed that. It were half productive, and I thought it was half a chance. I really did think when I started catching on that long line, I thought I'm going to get a few more bream here. Never happened. Really did, because I had a few little liners, but I thought there were smaller fish with the liners. A beautiful little hybrid, about 8 to 10 ounce. I really did think that were half a chance. Just missed out on section by a few ounces. So all in all, not a bad day really at Southfield. Apart from that, it was scorchio, absolutely scorchio. Thoroughly enjoyed it. A bit of skimmer practice. That's what I'll be concentrating on, getting ready for the feeder masters, making sure that you've definitely got a fish on the end of those bites, making sure you've got 1, 2, 3 and it's there, not them little jabs. Leave them. No good. We're at 1, 2 and you know it's only shaking its head. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. It's a dead simple day here. You've just got to keep your casting accurate, not too much bait, and that's pretty much all you can do, and hope that some bream turn up where you've set your traps, and that's about it. So there we go, that's Southfield over for me. Well done all of the qualifiers and Mick Axon for organising trip parking and that, as they always do. Do a great job here. So hope you enjoyed that, people. Last qualifier, last chance. Qualifier 10 in 2 weeks time, and we'll see how we get on there. So let's hope the breams turn up for Nosh next time. Underbank Reservoir for me, competition there on Sunday. So I'll take the cameras there, never fished it, we'll see how we get on there. That should be good practice for feeder masters too. So thanks for watching, people. Don't forget, it's absolutely free to subscribe to my channel, and if you click that notification bell, you get all our videos as we upload them, and a thumbs up would be very, very nice. So until next time at Underbank Reservoir, take care, people, and don't forget to fish on.